righty. One more minute. Assumption that they're going to approve this, sorry.
No, just if they,
Oh.
you can keep it. I don't know, it's a better copy than the one that you have in your packet.
True. Okay, are we on YouTube?
Yes, I still have
I
like
still got 5:59, but I'm sure it'll be any second here. You used to could get away with starting a minute or two early. Man, you can't. Can everybody hear me okay?
I have 6.
All right, I have 6 o'clock. I'll go ahead and call to order the regular meeting of the Pleasant View City Council this March 9th, 2021 at 6 p.m. Welcome, everybody. Hopefully there's some people joining us by Zoom also. I hope so. I'd like to keep that, and again, we're working on getting a camera, so when we start up down the road here, we'll be able to continue this practice. First item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance, opening prayer reading or expression of thought. Council Member Arrington. There you go.
All right, thank you.
She's frozen.
Everyone pledge allegiance first. Pledge allegiance first, how about that? I pledge allegiance for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, that was a little. Okay, that's the problem with this. Maybe the next pandemic in 20 years, we'll have worked itself out technology. Go ahead, Ann.
Thank you. Our Father in heaven, we're so grateful that we could meet together tonight as a council. We're grateful for the opportunity we have to serve in this community. We're thankful for the friendships and associations we enjoy among the citizens of this community. We pray for our police force and those who are protecting our country. They'll be blessed and protected. We're grateful for their service and sacrifice. And we pray tonight that as we discuss business in this city, that we'll be able to be guided and we'll be able to make some good decisions that will help our citizens in our community. And we're grateful for our prosperity and our health. And we continue to pray that this pandemic will cease and that we'll be able to get back to normal and enjoy the friendships and associations that we hold so dear. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Thank you. Okay, next item on the agenda is declaration of conflicts of interest. Anybody have any conflicts? What's on the agenda? Probably not. There isn't a whole lot on the agenda. Next, we'll turn some time over to our new city council leader, Sydney. Thank you for being here today. What did you guys got going? Anything?
So for last month in February, we had 12 youth make 30 Valentines for the residents of Maple Springs Living Center in Brigham City. And then we sent those Valentines on Valentine's Day and had a cookie decorating contest. And then this month, we're planning to tie blankets and come up with challenges for the Goose Chase game for Founders Day.
Okay, sounds good. We'll talk a little bit more later on in the meeting about Easter egg hunt, which will be in the first part of April, so that's less than a month away. So I'm sure the youth council will be involved in that full tilt. They always are. Thank you for being here. Next item on the agenda is comments or questions for the mayor and council from the public. Is there any members of the public that wish to address us? YouTube wise? Anybody on YouTube at all? Say no.
Sorry, I'm double checking right now. It just is a little delayed.
I'm guessing we're a little bit slow because we got 6 people on the Zoom meeting from the office's internet, so that's probably why we're a little jerky.
And Mary, I don't see any comments on YouTube at this time.
All right, we'll move to the consent items, minutes of February 16th, 2021. In your packet, you have a chance to review.
Just
Any changes
I'll
or
make a
additions?
motion that we do consent items.
Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Gibson, second by Bailey to approve the consent items. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Welcome, Dave. Okay, next item on the agenda is business 1. Discussion of possible action to award the Skyline grading package.
So I promise this isn't Groundhog Day. I know that this item's been tabled a couple of times, but for good reasons. So in just a little bit of history in receiving the bids on the grading package for Skyline, we were a little bit surprised by the amounts related to these, and the council has tabled this item twice in a desire to get more information. We got more information prior to the last discussion, a little bit more context, and then with this time, I just wanted to make the council aware that there has been contact made with the 2 lower bidders, Baker Parsons and Butters, and we're working to set up some meetings with them to talk about their bids, but then also maybe some other paths or options in pursuing those. And so right now, I think there's a couple options that you could do if you'd like. Obviously, you can award the bidding package if you'd like, but again, right now with financial constraints and really not having a funding source available, I wouldn't recommend that necessarily. The other options before you would be to table again if you'd like to another date certain, or if you'd like to wait for the results of those discussions with those bidders. We'll have more information, and then we actually may have some other proposals for your consideration at that point. And I will say we have asked for an extension of 60 days from each of the bidders, from Staker Parsons and from Butters. Staker Parsons was able to get that. Butters has had some kind of situations with some family tragedies with some of the management that they're working through right now. And so they're a little bit delayed in getting back to us, but they're working on getting the information back to us. And so those options still may be on the table as well for further consideration. I don't know if there's any questions at this time.
Okay, so you say we can table it, or can we just let it kind of die from lack of action and then just add it back on the agenda when we're ready to move forward with whatever we work out with one of these 2 companies?
Yes, that's
That'd be
correct.
my recommendation, is just let's let it, we had the discussion, let's let it die from lack of action, and we'll put it back on after negotiations. Anybody, that okay with everybody?
Good with me.
If any other comments before we move on to item 2?
No, it's mine. It's not very loud.
Okay, item 2 is discussion of possible action to amend the field reservation policy, policy
Okay.
2021-1. Amy.
Sorry, you have a lot of me tonight, but it's a short meeting, hopefully. So before you this evening, and it's not substantial changes, but we do have some proposed changes to the field reservation guidelines. And so this is something that was done in coordination with our recreation supervisor, and then also with our parks crews. And Tyson was heavily involved in working with Allison on this, just with some incidents and issues they've had in the past with alterations of our sprinkler systems and some different things, just to kind of help set in effect what the expectations are with using the field for organized sports. And so you'll see in the changes, there's a little bit of a tweak. It actually said that the purpose of the policy was to control, but just shifted the language a little bit to soften it to regulate, just more kind of help organize and structure how that's happening. And then also just clarifying that there will be an A-frame sign placed when a field may be deemed unplayable by the park superintendent, and just helping to kind of establish clear guidelines, expectations with the participants on how that will work, and communication with them if there is a reason why a field's not playable. Sometimes there's issues with grass seeding and various things, and so it's really just to kind of help people understand that. And there is a refund option, and actually Allison had recommended to soften that a little bit to allow for cancellation to be made even closer up to an event, because if we're closing down the field or that. One of the other things that's included in here is, again, just not allowing tampering with the field irrigation systems. And part of it, I know it's frustrating, you know, if there's a sports team that's going and practicing and the sprinklers are on, but we've had incidences where things have been broken as a result. And so just to encourage, you know, people not to touch that. And if there are challenges or issues, or if there's accidentally some type of damage that occurs, that the park supervisor is aware so that they can get that repaired and that there isn't any water leakage or anything going on with that. And if there is equipment they'd like to have stored at the field, just working with the park supervisor to know where best to store that and how best to put that so that it's not stolen or damaged or damaging of the field. So those are the main components of that. I don't know if there's any questions or concerns with the changes that are recommended there.
Yeah, just in item 7, there's just a typo. It's be placed and locked in a designated for students. Just
No, thank you. That's helpful. So if there's a motion made, please move that it's made with,
strike
with
it
that
out.
change.
Mayor, I have a question. So
Go ahead.
who's our park superintendent? Who is there a assigned person for that, or is it?
So
Yeah.
that's,
Bob Schreiber.
Say his name again, sorry.
Bob Schreiber. Schreiber.
and to your question too, Dave, there are backups for Bob too. And so that's part of why the language is included as the park superintendent, because they do have a contact line at all times. And so when Bob isn't available, there's another staff person that is available that they can reach out to and contact on the emergency line. So.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve the amended field reservation policy with the grammatical error listed on 7.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Gibson, second by Bailey. To approve. Any further discussion?
I have one question. Mayor, I have one question. This is, you know, with cancellation, we have a cancellation policy when people have put money down. But if a field is deemed unplayable due to weather or, you know, too much rain or something where we don't want it tore up, do we have a policy that, you know, I mean, I know the fields are open, you know, not year round, but do we have something that if we close the field so it doesn't get damaged?
Item 2 here added that. It says refunds may be issued for inclement weather or if the park superintendent has deemed a location unplayable. So that's one of the things we added.
Yeah, but that's for the field, you know, if you want to reserve the field, but just, you know, if I want to go down there tomorrow and the park's closed, you know, I know that's a little bit of a separate issue, but we still need to take care of the fields and, you know, not have even if they don't pay to have it reserved, if they come down and blow up our field, if it's closed, you know, and I think we need to look at something like that to make sure. I know the A-frame things, you know, are out there, but we need to have a policy on closing a field. If it, you know, I mean, if we have a deluge and it's just so muddy and they, you know, a lacrosse team or somebody comes down and rips it up, whether they have a field reserved or not, we need to have something in that case. Anyway, sorry.
We'll check with Mr. Schreiber on that.
That goes against this motion, but anyway, motion stands.
All Alrighty,
No, it doesn't go against the motion, and we can absolutely get that information for you, Councilmember Gibson. So
alrighty. Any other? Not, all in favor, say aye.
It's a resolution, I think,
I,
isn't it?
No,
Policy.
just a policy,
Oh, just a policy? Okay,
our contractor resolution, so it's our own policy. So.
okay. Perfect. I thought everybody was
Say aye.
listening to that.
Aye.
I,
Any opposed? Motion carries. But there is no closed meeting. I know about. And Dave has to leave us at 7. They have time. I'd like to start tonight. I have 5 or 6 items to go around the table, so I'll start. First is we've had a lot of clamor on the pickleball. To get the pickleball courts open. Amy's been working with staff to get that to happen. We're hoping there is some weather issues still. We're still shooting to try to get it open tomorrow, as far as I know. Is that still true, Amy, or have we pushed that back?
no, that is true. So I know that staff has been monitoring the 10-day forecast for snow, and I don't believe that they've seen any in the next 10 days. So I think the anticipation would be to get those open as soon as we can, looking at tomorrow and then having them open from here on out.
I think what we'll want to do, though, just if the council agrees, is possibly if we do get a day or two of really bad weather, we'll just lock it back up for that 2 or 3 day period of time. So we don't damage our court. I don't know that we're going to get any significant snow where people will be down there with a snow shovel. That's one of the biggest problems, is people trying to clear it off. We've had people break in. They broke into the lights and turned the lights on. They climbed the fence and were playing without nets. That was Saturday. Was that Saturday you called me, Sarah? Saturday again last
Actually,
night.
it was Sunday. I
Sunday.
believe.
Again last night, I alerted police officer Doan, went down and kicked some people out. They were again playing without nets. He said the lock was open. I don't believe any of us opened it, so I don't know if they. I'm sure it's not that hard to open a lock for some people. So anyway, so that's what we're planning on, pickleballs, to try to get that open as soon as we can. Been great weather. We left with 10 inches of snow and came back 2 weeks later. I had 4 inches of ice on my pool cover when I left. And when I got back, it was dry. It's amazing, that 2 week period. That we had there, so.
It was
Great.
warmer than Cancun.
Yeah. I would like to just, if everybody's okay with it, if not, we can still Zoom people in. I'd like to get back to our regular chamber meeting, if that's possible, maybe starting next council meeting in 2 weeks. We'll set it up. We're gonna talk tomorrow with staff about opening the building again, and still would be requiring masks of any of the public that came in, and we'll set the chairs 6 feet apart for the audience.
Mayor,
Yeah,
if we all come with our own devices so that we can be seen, everybody's got to have headphones, earphones. Otherwise, there's a whole lot of.
yeah, and I don't know if the entire council is going to be here. Yeah, we'll try to work it out with staff.
Yeah, if we have our own device, it just makes it, if we're all by each other.
Good point. Unless we have just one common one set up that like we do in here. Yeah, we're gonna still work on that. But we'll let you know for sure when we push the packet out if we're meeting, if we're ready to do that, so.
Mayor, one quick thing on pickleball. I just got a text. I didn't realize we actually have a staff person that's going to be out tomorrow for medical reasons. And so pickleball will be opening on Thursday, not tomorrow. Sorry.
All right. Close enough. Thank you. The health department came to WACOG meeting last week. I actually decided to take the time to join WACOG from Canada, from Flight Department. And it was good. They were going to talk about community celebration. So it was an interest that I knew we needed to kind of be involved in. And the good news is, I don't know if you read the paper, there was an article that came out like Friday or Thursday following that meeting that said the health department is basically giving us the green light to go ahead if things stay the way and continue to improve. They always threw that caveat in. If it goes back to 3,000 cases, then no, but they're anticipating to continue decline, and they're way ahead on vaccinations. As you all know, or probably know, they lowered it to 50, starting this last Monday, and that was not supposed to happen until April. So they're really feel good about the vaccination rollout, and feel good about the only problem that they might see is on the food events, where they still would like to have some sort of family separation. So we'll be talking in our meeting about what that means for our breakfast and our salmon. Maybe we'll just have to set the tables up a little different or something this year, but just so you know, we're headed in a good place on that. Easter egg hunt, I don't know, Amy, if you want to cover that a little bit or.
Yeah, I'm happy to, and I was going to really quickly, let's see, share my screen, because I have Allison was kind enough to provide the anticipated events for the upcoming year. Oh, come on. So obviously the next thing that would be upcoming is that Easter egg hunt, and part of it, we really wanted to get feedback from the council on where you want to go with this. So the other surrounding communities really aren't doing much of anything. Allison's worked really hard with youth council to come up with some creative options, possibly preparing baggies of candy, or I don't know if everybody would feel comfortable doing some type of masked event. I know I heard somebody mention like a candy cannon, or I mean, there's just kind of a variety of things, but we need to figure that out quickly because that event is coming up. And then just as a heads up, and I'm happy to email out this grouping of events, but then we have the Founders Day events coming up. We have a meeting this week on Founders Day, movies in the park, pickleball, food trucks, Pumpkin Palooza, and Santa. So with Easter, I guess we just need feedback from you all on what you'd like to do with that, what you'd like to see happen. Because it's coming up really quickly.
Go ahead, Sarah.
Well, oh, sorry, Mayor. I just noticed on Facebook today that Riverdale put out something about their Easter event, their Easter candy event. And you know how Jill actually came up with the idea of possibly doing the candy cannon and launching it and give the kids their bags, and you can separate them into groups. And that way there's not the contact and whatever else. But what Riverdale's doing is they're setting it up from this certain time, this age group comes. They got their, they have their Easter egg, hunt done, and then they go to another block of time in a different age group. And so that's what I saw on Facebook. Different age groups, I think they're 15, 20-minute blocks. And then they, ask them to go, and then the next age group comes. And so that's how they're doing it. I just noticed today. So just an FYI.
Yeah, not a bad idea. And we talked about drive, just having them come drive through and the youth council or whoever passing out bags of candy to the car, driving on by the Easter Bunny here, that whole thing, that's a possibility. Different parks is a possibility, age group here, age group there, that's a possibility. Staggering the times is a possibility. What's everybody think? He just wants to come up with something. I think we should do something.
Mayor, how many kids participate in that every year, typically?
There's a lot.
I mean, 100, 200,000? I don't know what the.
Probably close to 1,000, probably.
Yeah.
Maybe 5. There's a lot.
300 to 500 probably somewhere there.
It's a crazy free-for-all. And so I can see why Allison's a little concerned about what to do, because it's like every man for himself with their parent.
don't they normally have them blocked out in age groups anyway? I mean,
but they're all,
if they adhere to it. But seriously, you should see it, Steve. It's like it's a crazy competition.
And again, we could just say, you know, wear a mask and come and, I don't know,
What does Allison want to do?
She really didn't have a firm recommendation. She wants to know sooner rather than later what the desire of the council and the mayor are to kind of know how to proceed. We usually order a lot of candy and it's Easter specific and just wanted some direction on that. I think she felt really good with having the youth council maybe prepare some baggies, have an Easter bunny help hand out, and just, you know, kind of adhere to COVID stuff. But I know everything's shifting and changing constantly on all of that. And so I think she was really willing to do whatever you all recommended. But that was kind of the idea that she'd come up with, and she'd ask the other communities what they're doing. And there wasn't a lot going on, but that's good to know that Riverdale's doing some things. And
I just noticed that today.
currently, so you know, we have 18 active cases of COVID in our city.
Is that all now? It's
My
gone down quite a
my
bit.
concern is if the surrounding communities are not going to be doing anything, we might get a lot of bleed over from other communities.
Yeah, I think my first choice would be not to have it. I know that's not probably what everybody, I mean, I think because of the pandemic, we got to still be careful with it. And if not, then I think maybe the baggies handed out a bag of candy as they drive by.
I think you look at that demographic, and I just don't think that's a high risk group. I think they're playing on the playgrounds together at school. I personally like the Riverdale idea where you wear masks and you do it in different shifts. I think I kind of like there's merit to the different parks, but I think it'd be hard for a mom to get kids to different parks. So I think let's look for a reason to hold it instead of a reason to cancel it. That's my opinion.
Well, I think we could spread it pretty far and wide if we had, I think there's 4 age groups, if I remember right.
I think she does like 0 to 5 and something like that. And then she does like 6 to 8. And then there's 4. When my kids go down there, something like that.
So if we started at 10, 10, 15, 10, 30, and 10, 45, beat that by about.
Do you want me to tell you what Riverdale's doing real quick, their age groups? I can tell you real quick.
I think if you did that, you want to have different locations because people like to linger around and it'd be hard to have same event 15 minutes later.
And I mean, it's been a lot of years since I've been to an Easter egg hunt, but generally, I mean, it's over so quickly.
Yeah,
It is.
5 minutes.
I mean,
Hey.
5 minutes, and if you have, the little kids always go first, at least in years gone by.
Not
And then
anymore.
you have a couple other little areas that are gone. I mean, and it's over in 10 minutes. I mean,
So
I just think you just do it just like Ann said, just have them wear masks and
this
try
is
to socially distance and let them go and have it be done.
this
I
is
do-
what. Sorry.
I do worry about what the mayor said about everybody coming in though. If North Ogden doesn't have it, are we going to be inundated with everybody and their dog if we advertise it out there? That's a worry.
Yeah, I guess so. But even so, like if their numbers are low in North Ogden too, like, there's only so much candy, pick it up, we're done. I don't know.
I agree that I
All right.
I echo that. I think we should just leave it at that.
Okay.
And have it done.
So Mayor, Riverdale has 4 age groups every, they're doing one age group at the lower part of a park and then another age group at the upper part at the same time. So age 0 to 3, and then the other group is 7 to 9. And then 45 minutes later, they have the 2 other age groups, 4 to 6 and 10 to 12, and they're separating the groups at the park.
The kids, once they start, the spacing is, I mean, if the kids
Yeah.
don't get that close together, this is why they're standing there in the line.
And they don't really stay very long. Seriously, the Easter
No,
egg hunt,
they're-
it's like over in 15 minutes and everybody goes home. It really is like, boom, get your candy, and everybody goes home.
All right, well, thanks
I
for your
guess-
ideas. We'll figure something out tomorrow, staff meeting.
yeah, to clarify, so if you'd all like to move forward, we can work out
Yeah.
the logistics there for you. I just think Allison would love that direction. So that's helpful. Thank you.
Next item I have is the neighborhood match that an attorney got involved in. It's down on 1000 West. hopefully you all know which one I'm talking about. I don't want to name names here in the public meeting, but we've kind of sent them saying we've done all we can do. We're not going to, as a city, we encourage you, if you still have problems, to pursue it civilly, and we're just not going to take sides and be involved in it. So that's kind of where we're at. You might get a contact from one of the neighbors or the attorney representing one of the neighbors, but the official position of the city is we reached out to the ombudsman, and we are kind of telling them we're kind of done with it. And if you still want to pursue it civilly against your neighbor or whatever. Stop, without saying stop trying to make the city the bad guy, or kind of tell them to stop making the city the bad guy. Really, we have found nothing, everything that they don't like the answers we're giving them, but those are the answers that we can provide. So, just in case one of them reached out to you and you'll kind of know why or what we're doing. The next thing is the North Ogden meeting, which will be this Friday. Myself, Kevin, and Ann, and I haven't gotten the list of who the mayor over there brought. Just so you know, what I plan on doing is kind of, I hope not to poison the well too much, but I'm still a little irritated every time this comes up as to how it was presented by myself and the Pleasant View for this, because that's never the case. I think I've explained to each of you how it really happened in my email and whatever, but you know, and maybe the fact that I said that it's your decision somehow that made them think that it was okay. I don't know where they're coming from, but that we were okay with it. I told them there'd be a lot of angry residents, in both cities. Anybody I believe that lives to the west of Washington Boulevard ought to be a little irritated by the whole plan. Right now it's temporarily closed. I do have one concern that, you know, I think we need to stick with the position that if this is a safety issue, we would like to see a right turn. We'd like to see it stay open. My concern is I don't believe that's what it really is.
You don't believe what? I'm sorry.
I don't believe that's really what their goal is.
Oh,
But I think that's our position is, you know, I hope to find out from them Friday what their real goal is. Is it really they don't care about the safety? Because I believe it can be solved with the right turn. If they want to expand the park, if there's some other agenda, bring it out and let's talk about it that way and not as it just doesn't make sense. It can be resolved easily with a right turn. Easily be resolved. And even if they don't think that will resolve it, give it a year or two and try it, and then revisit it. Then, you know, I don't know why they wouldn't think it would be resolved. Most people don't turn left there anyway. Occasionally when they do. But we got to find out what their real impetus is for closing the road. Is it really for safety, or is it they got some other grand plan?
you listened to the minutes of that meeting, right?
I watched it.
Where the mayor, North Ogden mayor brought up park issues.
Yep.
Okay, just curious.
I've also talked to a couple council member over there that said that they said, we got a park that's sitting undeveloped right now that we don't have money to develop, so they can't figure out why they want to.
Right.
I do have some insight, but I don't want to share it in this public meeting. But
Yeah.
It was on somebody else's list prior. So anyway, enough said about that. Is there any other change to that position? Do I need to soften it? I mean, I want them to know we're opposed to it and that we believe it can be easily remedied by right turn.
I hope
Keep
that you
going.
also, that you convey what can we do to help that come to pass.
Sure.
You know, we're happy to be partners with them and do whatever we can.
We're going to
to
do it
help
very
that.
diplomatically.
Yeah.
Once I get off my soapbox, I've been throwing me under the bus.
So they did say that they weren't going to do anything until they got an approval to have a light. So
Well, it's unfortunate the way this whole thing came about because, you know, just prior to going on vacation, me and Amy and their city administrator and mayor sat down for lunch and to introduce Amy and the mayor then told me, that was a Wednesday. He told me that the night before the council had voted to close it. And I'm like, wait a minute. You told me there'd be more dialogue. You told me, you know, and he said, well, there will be. It's not a done deal. That's just their wishes. And they haven't even contacted UDOT about a light yet. So there will be a lot more to come. But then a week later, it got pushed out by a member of their council that, oh yeah, this is what we're doing onto Facebook, and then it exploded from there. So like I said, it's unfortunate the way it transpired. It shouldn't have transpired that way. So.
Mayor, will you also ask them, because in some of my conversations with their council too, that some of their council members had relayed that they hadn't actually seen their traffic studies and their data. Can you ask for that information and see if they have something for you possibly? Because I think that's an important part of the equation that nobody seems to be able to provide. So.
Well, yeah, unfortunately, you know, they're talking about, I mean, yeah, they've kind of contradicted. They said, well, now's the time to do it. We can pour curb gutter and sidewalk all along that west side. It's like, whoa, that's not part of this project. It's not the time to do it. There's no money for it. Plus, it's not part of the project. So anyway, they're a little bit divided themselves. So there's a lot more dialogue to be had, not only with us, but within themselves and with UDOT. And like I said, it's unfortunate that it got pushed out as a done deal prematurely. So by them, and it's not our bad doing, but they're doing. So
Mayor, what is the meeting? This is a meeting on Friday just with you and the mayor, or who's meeting?
Well, yeah, the mayor originally, when I talked to him twice while I was down there before their council meeting that you guys went to. And I said, hey, what's this on Facebook all of a sudden? Da, 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 you know, and he just said there'll be more dialogue, there'll be a chance. Don't worry. I said, okay, well, so that you know, we're worried, and our council members asked him to draft that letter, and that each of you came in and signed, and thank you for doing that. Thank you for you know, your Zoom participation in the meeting. I thought it really went well. I think you guys did an excellent job, all of you, and hopefully conveyed to them. If they're sore, they ought to be sore themselves. I think it got pushed out too soon, and they can only be mad at themselves for pushing it out prematurely, not for our response. But he wanted to sit down, and I said, yeah. And I said, I think we should get a couple of council members. He said, fine, you pick two, I'll pick two. And he said, I'll have John reach out to Amy and make it happen. That's what he did. So apparently Fridays as soon as they could do it, but there's no hurry because they haven't even reached out to UDOT yet. So I'm like, okay, Friday's fine. It's way premature on their part again, but we need to keep it moving and hopefully get a resolution that's amenable to both cities.
So are there council members going to this with you, or no?
Yes.
Who's going?
Ann and Kevin.
Ann and Kevin?
Yep.
Okay. Was that open to everybody, or?
Pardon?
Was that open to everybody? I didn't know that was happening.
It was open to, he picked two council members, I picked two council members. And I could explain to you not in this meeting why I picked who I picked.
Okay.
If you're curious, I'll let you know. Hopefully, to finish that thought, hopefully there will be a chance. I would like our council and I don't care if it's a public meeting down the road, for our entire councils to get together and especially if there isn't an agreement, if they're like pushing back or don't want to do it or whatever, I would certainly hope we could get together as entire councils, do the advertisements, and I don't care if we do it on Zoom or in person or whatever, but hopefully they're going to be amenable and we're going to be able to work out a solution before that. We shall see. Okay, that's all I have. So let's start around the table. Dave, let's start with you because I know you got something to go to, or so we'll start with you tonight.
Yeah, I just more have a question. I haven't heard about the survey results. I mean, are we getting, we're getting some activity on that, and how's that going?
I can speak to that. So we've had 220 respondents so far, and we're going to close the survey on March 15th. So we want to try and get, another push here the last week or so to try and get people to respond to that. So
Are you going to put out some reminders on social media and stuff and to get them to do that?
yeah, what other reminders do you think we could do? Because I mean, social media is kind of a niche. Like,
I
What do
put
you-
an email blast with Debbie, like when we do the food trucks and events and stuff, a few days before or the day before, we put out an email blast to the residents, letting them know of the event. And so you can put out an email saying, hey, if you haven't had a chance to do the survey, I would do email and social media. Because paper, it take too long, but that's what I would do. So.
221 so far.
What
And
do
do we want to put that up on the marquee, or do you
You
just
could
want
do
to go
that
with
too. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, just looking for ways to just remind people to get it done. The more input, the better.
And I'm happy to bring that up in staff meeting tomorrow too, and just see what kind of venues we have to push that out and to help remind too. And I'm happy to connect with you after. So.
Okay, anything else, Dave? Nope. All right, let's just go around, Chief. Right.
We're staying busy as always. We're starting to get our in-person training started up. Training's been a little short the last year because of COVID. We're finally getting some classes available that's live. So we're trying to get our officers all their in-service training for the year before July. A week and a half or so ago, our canine officer responding to an accident involving an auto deer. And en route to that auto deer accident, he hit a deer. So we've got some damage to the front end of our canine vehicle, and it's in the repair shop now. Probably get it back at the end of the week. I sent an email out to, I think, all members of City Council, Mayor. Our vehicle burglaries are starting again with the good weather. And they're getting a little more brazen. Instead of just opening unlocked vehicles, they're starting to break the windows on the vehicles. And if they have a hard time breaking the windows of the vehicles, they start shooting out the windows of vehicles, or in at least one. So we're a little concerned about that. The officer did give chase to the vehicle that did this in Ogden. The chase had to be terminated because of the danger and policy and state law and issues involved with that. We do have some information we're following up. What we do know is it's a group of juveniles that are on their, one of them at least on their 49th offense that we know and still out running around. Along with these vehicle burglaries, we're getting construction trailers broken into. And we had one construction trailer, well, it was a church-owned enclosed trailer stolen. And the construction trailers are getting broke into. They're cutting the locks and stealing tools out of them. So we're very concerned about that. Today I wrote a newsletter article that Heather's going to put in the newsletter next month, reminding people again, we do this once or twice a year to keep valuables out of sight. I'd say keep vehicles locked, but in some cases that helps, in some cases it doesn't. The best thing they do is keep them out of light or out of valuables out of sight, and keep lights on near the vehicles if they can. As I was on my way to the meeting tonight, I heard an officer go out on a stolen car out of Wasatch View Trailer Park. That vehicle was actually recovered a week ago while this individual was on vacation in Roy. The individual's been gone 2 weeks. He comes back, his car's gone. It was located in Roy a week ago, abandoned. So we're getting the bandits out here at night again. They're still looking to steal vehicles or property out of vehicles, getting construction trailers, private trailers. So I've got information out to all the night officers. We're gonna step up some enforcement and surveillance on those. And for statistics for the month of February, statistic-wise, it was a little slow, but as you can see, we have fewer calls, but our calls are getting more and more serious. But in February, we had 494 calls for service, 30 citations were issued, and 6 arrests. That's all I have, unless you have some questions.
Thank you. Laurie? Oh, and
Chief, I keep leaving my 96 Ford out, but no one will take it. I'm trying to get that thing stolen. Just kidding. Hey, hey, just really quick on the fiber survey. I just, we talked all through that, but I wanted to thank Heather and Amy for their work on that. Appreciate their effort on that. And then Steve's going to talk more to this, but it sounds like we got, in fact, Steve, if you don't mind jumping in, we got some trees near the CERT house that are causing some issues. And I think Steve knows more about it, but Jill just called me last minute tonight and said, make sure we talk about that. So Steve will address that, I'm sure. That's all I got.
okay, Kevin.
Just a couple things. We've been working with a couple of vendors relative to the Veterans Veterans Monument. Amy's done a lot of work in pushing that out. We've got some bids probably a year, and hopefully we can present that for the whole council next meeting. So looks really good. The bids we got back from 3 monument companies kind of weren't apple to apple bids, and so we're going to try and solidify those up this next week. So we'll show you what we've come up with in our next meeting, and then we'll talk about Founders Day, I guess, in the Founders Day meeting. But we do need to, everybody put your feelers out for somebody to help run the race. We need somebody to help with that. So that's all I've got. Run the race. Okay.
Emily doesn't want to.
Sarah.
Just by way of information, I don't know if you all heard that Ray Ward passed away. And so Lori Lee reached out to me to let me know that her father passed away, and Carrie Hall is Lori's sister. So just, I don't know if any of you wanted to go in on a card or anything, or felt like you were close to him. If not, that's fine. But we have been talking with Lori, Ann and I and Amy about, she's looking at possibly, starting at some leagues in Pleasant View, and there's more to come on that later for pickleball. But just let you know that Ray Ward passed away. And I don't know. I think that most of everything was already brought up. So just more to come on Founders Day on Thursday when we have that discussion. So.
Okay, Steve.
Well, that's the major thing is just Thursday at 3:30. It is listed as a public meeting, so we hope everybody's there. We're not going to have it on Zoom. It'll just be a recording, so it'll be really listed as a work session. We're gonna, if the public wants to come, we'll have them sit kind of in the stands, but we'll socially distance, and I think it'll be a great thing. The only person I really haven't talked to is Kevin, about the breakfast and the run. So definitely bring your concerns there, and we'll kind of talk a little bit about that. But I think everybody else, I believe, we're in good shape. I talked to the mayor. I'm full-fledged. We're gonna have a full-fledged Founders Day as far as I'm concerned. Right, Sarah?
Yes, we are, Steve.
Yeah,
it's going to be the best ever.
I talked to Woody with the car show, and he's ready to go. And we'll make some modifications and do some things. I whatever the new world is, we'll try to adapt to that a little bit. But I think the residents of Pleasant View are ready to get back to something, have some normal, have some fun. And I really like the way that, we're going in a good direction. And I think everybody vaccinated really by June that wants it. So I don't see any reason to not have it. So that's good. And with the rain gutters, Tyson will get on that. We're going to see if we can cut those trees down, just get rid of that. And instead of spending money on a rain gutter,
So what's
screen or
happening?
something.
What are we talking about?
What's happening?
It's the cert house on the south side. The rain gutters get clogged with the little leaves, and they have to get them cleaned out. And the Tyson, the Public Works, have done it a couple years, but they haven't done it several other years, and so water gets clogged and there's damage to the house. And so the Diplomas is who I talk to. They want them either put some covers on like a screen, or just get rid of the trees. And they're really kind of just a junk tree that's grown up there. I don't see there's any reason to have them. So we'll work on that. It's not a huge issue. It's just something that we do need to make sure we take care of. We want to keep the building working and less work for the city Public Works. So I think it'll just be an easy fix. So not a huge issue, but we'll get that taken care of, I think. So Dave, I would like to sit down with you. Are you available at all tomorrow or before the meeting on Thursday? Are you going to be able to make the meeting?
Yeah, planning on it.
If we could meet maybe a little early, I'd like to look at the banners up in the shop and get a few of those things done, so we can kind of talk about that publicity and what we've got. We just need to do a little bit of work. It's easier to unroll and fold them with two people than one. So maybe if we could possibly meet at 3, is it even doable for you?
3 is going to be tight. Can we meet after the meeting?
Yeah, we can do that.
Would that be okay?
That's fine.
I can be there maybe 10, 15 minutes early was all.
No,
So,
that's okay. That's okay. Thank you. Anyway, 3:30, exciting.
Yeah, sounds good. Amy, last but not least.
I don't have anything further. Sorry, I stole some of your time there to cover the event. So thank you.
That's okay. I think we got everything covered. All right. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you, most of you, if not all of you, on Thursday.
Yeah, Steve, get up here. You're the only one not here.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Second. No.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. Is Dave here?
Yeah, he's right. He's here.